Good afternoon, happy stampers, and welcome to my happy stamping studio. I want to welcome all my live viewers as well as those watching on replay, whether Facebook or YouTube. Please comment as you come on. And if you're watching on Facebook, make sure you give StreamYard permission to post your comments so I can see them. I do not have my phone today, so I won't see them until the video is over, until our class is over today, unless you give it permission. So welcome, welcome. So my name is Judi Anderson, and I'm from judistamps.com. I'm an independent demonstrator here in the United States and the team leader of the Happy Stampers in Ink team. So we are going to be doing a fall card today, and I am using some product that is not meant for fall in the July to December mini catalog. So I was, thinking, okay, what do I want to do this week? So this week we're going to be doing an assortment of fall cards. Okay, I'm not going to use one particular set all week like we've been doing the past couple weeks. I thought, you know what, I want to bring back some stamp sets that are found in the annual catalog and the mini catalog, along with products from both catalogs to show you how they coordinate with each other, and they can be used for cards other than what's shown in the catalogs. So what do you say? Let's get going. Okay, I'm flipping you around. Okay, there we go. So this is the July to December mini catalog, and this is the product I'm using in here today. This is the Metallic Shimmer 6x6 Specialty Paper. This paper is gorgeous. It comes in evening evergreen, gold foil, basic black with silver foil, Cajun craze, and pumpkin pie. So here you get 4 sheets of each, and here is the Cajun craze with pumpkin pie, and it's got some crushed curry in there also. And here's the evergreen. Isn't this awesome? So this is the evening evergreen with the gold, and look at all that shimmer. Not sure if you can see all of that. And here is the black and white and silver. Doesn't this just scream out happy New Year's? Yeah, I was going to say 4th of July. Happy New Year's. But you could do it for the 4th of July or other events by using your blends and coloring on some of these spots that are in here. So we're going to be using this one today. And if you have been watching me for a while, you know one of my favorite combinations is purples and oranges. But today we're going to be using our cherry cobbler. And I am going to combine this with the Nature's Harvest stamp set right here. Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining me. And the Harvest dies. Now, I have not done cut out my label yet, but this set of dies, there's 8 dies. So you have these florals, which do cut out some of the images in here, and then you've got these. Now, I was going to use these cone flowers, but I decided, you know what, I do want to do some stamping, so we're going to be using this image here. And I am going to be taking one of these dies, and I'm thinking the thank you will fit, so we're going to use the thank you. So, our paper pieces, they are a scrap of white. I'm going to stamp on that. I'm all about scraps. I've already cut this die from the Cajun craze, not Cajun craze, I'm sorry, crushed curry. So that is going to be used as an accent. And then I decided to cut my paper in a 3-inch strip this way. I almost did it this way, and I thought, no, I might want to use part of this in another card. So I cut it 3 inches down the middle, and then I cut it 4 inches from the top to the bottom. So I cut the 2 inches off that 3-inch piece. And what that left me with was a 3 by 4 inch piece of this designer series paper. I've got to move everything up. I changed my camera today. And then I have some early espresso, and that's a mat for this, and that is measured 3 1/4 by 4 1/4. And then we have our cherry cobbler. And, you know, I am thinking here, hang on just a second. You know, I do love purple. I am wondering, ooh, that makes that pop. I am going to go with the gorgeous grape. I just changed my mind on here. So I'm going to take my cardstock. You know, I always say score first at 4 1/4. We want to take our lighter gray blade and slide our cutting blade up there. And we want to score it at 4 1/4 first. And then I'm going to turn it and I'm going to cut it at 5 1/2. And I need to get my cutting blade back in the track. I'm just going to slide it down here. And there we go. So we have a piece that measures 8 1/2 by 5 1/2, and we scored it at 4 1/4. We're going to fold that. I'm going to move this. The cherry cobbler wasn't doing it for me today. Okay, let me grab my bone folder so we can burnish that crease. Okay, so we've got that. I'm going to set that to the side. I think this is going to be a gorgeous card. Now I'm going to grab my Memento ink and I'm going to stamp my image. Now sometimes when I have a large image like this, I will take my stamp, lay it down, and then I take my ink pad to it. And I'm just going to stamp. I don't want to get too much ink because I do not want that image muddy. And for some reason, this one will get a little bit muddy when you do that. So we're going to go just like this. Okay, gorgeous. Okay, we're going to clean my ink, my stamp off, and let's grab a couple of our, Stampin' Blends. Now, we don't have a gorgeous grape, so I am going to use the Orchid Opulence. Oh, I'm so sorry. Orchid Opulence is an old color of ours. I'm using Orchid Oasis. And I am going to use our darker Daffodil Delight. And then for my greens, I don't want to be real dark. So I am using our dark Granny Apple Green. I'm mixing a couple colors here. And I'm going to use our dark Old Olive. And then I want to match the oranges. So we do have pumpkin pie. And I have the light one, and I think that is I'm probably going to primarily stick with the lights. So we are going to be coloring these. Now I'm going to take my Daffodil Delight, and I am going to just put some color on some of these leaves. Okay, just along the edges. And we're going to blend those out a little bit with our greens. And I just want to do a little bit of highlighting here. Okay, so now I'm going to start with my dark Granny Apple Green, and our blends do have a brush tip and a fine tip, and I almost always color with my fine tip. Very rarely do I use that brush tip, and I am going over that Daffodil Delight and just coloring down. When I go to the edges here, and I might go over the Daffodil Delight. Oops, I didn't do any here. That's okay. With, after I'm done with this, I'll see how the coloring comes. I don't spend a lot of time coloring with these smaller images, and I mean as far as blending. Okay, now I'm going to take my dark Old Olive, and I'm just going to add some shading on one side. Oops, I went outside the line there. That's okay. I don't fret about those things. I'm just following the artist's coloring there. We're going to go right here. Let's add some dark in here, because that's the stem is going in front of that. The stem is going in front of this leaf. So we're just adding some shading. Very simple. Okay, so I've done that. Now I want the yellow to show up a little bit more. So I am going over all my colors with the Daffodil Delight. Now I'm using the dark Daffodil Delight, and when I use it this way, it has a tendency of taking on a golden color. Okay, just like that. Now I do want just to take away a little bit of this daffodil in there. There we go. Okay, so we've got those. So now we're going to go on to our next. And let me see if I can lower this just a tad bit more. I had it all lined up, but I feel that you guys, there we go. I think that's lined up a little bit better so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, so now I am going to take my pumpkin pie, but a little bit of a tip here. I forgot to grab my other color. I want to use Poppy Parade. I believe this is it. Okay, I love my purple and orange coneflowers in my garden. And the orange is kind of a reddish orange color. So I am going to do this flower up here. And I want just to add a little bit of the poppy. Okay, and did you know that you could blend two different colors like we did with the daffodil? I'm going to do the same thing here with my poppy and my pumpkin pie. And what the poppy is going to do, it's going to brighten this orange. I think that the pumpkin pie is a little bit dull, and this is where I'm going to move that color from, I'm starting in the poppy and going into those white areas. Okay, and what that's going to do is that's going to draw that poppy out into and blend and create a new color. Okay, and it's the color that I want. I love experimenting with my blends, and I urge you to do that. Okay, so that brightened that orange up. Okay, so now we're going to go and do our purple ones. And this is the Orchid Oasis. I got it right. And I want to color every other one to begin with. So we're going to go down and just color down here very lightly. I do turn my images around, my paper around when I'm coloring. And remember, starting at the outside edge and moving in. Like I said, I'm doing every other one to begin with. Okay, now what I'm going to do next is grab my color lifter and my fresh freesia. And this is the light fresh freesia. And I forgot to list that in the beginning. And I'm going to pull that color up. Okay, and at first, it doesn't look like it's blending in there, but just watch how this changes. And it does take a minute for it to change and blend together. So give it time to work. Okay. And you're going to notice that the light ones are really light. But don't forget the sun is hitting our flower. So you don't need to color everyone in. And I can go back and add some more dark, which is what I'm going to do now, but it's actually the light Orchid Oasis. And I'm just going to add a little bit of color in there and right in there. And I think right here. Okay, let's grab this again. We're going to blend that out. Blend it out. Okay, so now we have this one over here. I'm going to go ahead and start with my fresh freesia this time, because this flower is a lot smaller and bunched up. So I don't want as much Orchid Oasis, and I'm letting that dry for just a second. This time I'm using my brush tip because I want very little color. I don't want a lot in there, so I put 4 lines. Now I'm going to take it and I'm going to blend it out. Now, if you didn't have fresh freesia, you could probably use one of the pinks. And you're going to notice right in here, I got some color out. So I want to let that dry a little bit. We have our centers of our coneflower. And those are usually black. So I am going to go ahead and color it with our black blend, leaving a spot there. And let's blend it up. There you go. Okay, so I'm going to take the coordinating die and we're going to cut that out. So we're going to use our large cut and emboss machine. I'm going to pull that over. We are really close here. So I may have to, I'm not going to adjust the camera. Okay, so we're going to put this on here. We have our platform 1. We have our platform 2. And then we have a number 3 acrylic plate. We're going to put our paper there. I'm going to twist it a little bit because this is a long die. So we don't want to go directly in. I'm going to cut this. And we may not have to use our color lifter at all. We'll see. So I put this in so it reaches underneath there. Once it's in, I slap it down. Then I hold it tight and I just run it through. Okay. Move this off to the side. And let's see what we have. Okay, look how easy that is. It makes such quick time of stamping. Okay, and you know, it had bled out here, and now you can't even tell that it had bled out from the, there I go with that word again, bled out. Okay, so we have these, and we have our cut element, and I want to cut out a piece of basic white, and I'm going to stamp the thank you on there. So I just have a scrap of basic white. I am going to use early espresso. I was thinking of doing this on vellum, but then I thought, oh, that's going to take up a little bit of time to dry. And I didn't want to use my heat gun. My heat gun is too noisy on here. So I want to do the thank you. Let's just stamp it on here. Nice, quick and easy. Let that dry a second. And then we will cut that out. While we're waiting for that to dry, I am going to grab my Versamark pad. Now, if you have watched my Back to the Basics class, we have covered the Versamark pad and how it is a so we're going to use it as a watermark. So I grabbed this stamp out of there, which to me looks like a background. It could be flowers in the background, but I am just going to stamp that periodically around the edge. There. And as this dries, you're going to see it show up more. Let's do that one there. I'm going to put this one up here. I am just going to place this and see if I need to fill it in. Now, did you notice I didn't cover the whole background, first of all, and I didn't make it solid. I've got spaces. And see how that's popping out in some areas and fading in others? That's because that's the way the stamp is made. So it's giving you that effect without having to worry about how you inked it up, how little ink you have on there. Okay, so let's get out our cut and emboss machine. We are using the same sandwich, okay? We're using our platform 1, our platform 2, our acrylic plate 3. I'm just going to tear that. Going to put this at an angle because we don't want it going through straight on because it makes that die curl. Put it in till it stops. Slap it down and squeeze. Okay. Here we go. We'll move our machine again. And we have our thank you. Okay, let's put our die away so we don't lose it. Take our platforms out, and we're all ready to start assembling our card. Okay, so we're going to start by putting this onto our early espresso. And, you know, I'm not sure this card is going to need any other embellishments because this paper is just gorgeous. So what I want to decide is, do I want this at the bottom or the top? So we're going to be placing this on just like this. Or do I want it this way? I'm thinking this way because it gives the illusion that there's other flowers in the background. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to adhere this on. And I'm just doing it straight onto our card, and I am doing it lower. Okay, so but when I say that, I have more space up here than I do at the bottom. Okay, and I'm actually going to put it off to the left a little bit too. So I have a smaller space here than I do here. Okay, so I'm offsetting that. Now, those probably aren't colors that you would normally pick together. I know, believe me. Okay, I'm going to do something. I'm going to rip these. Just going to tear it apart right there. I don't want just a clump there. I want it separated. So I'm going to figure out where I want these coming up from behind. Grab my silicone mat. I'm going to put this upside down and put some adhesive on the leaves. Okay, by putting it there on the leaves, it's going to hold these embellishments on the back, but you won't see that adhesive. Okay, so we're going to stick that one, and I'm just pressing it on. And I'm hoping that, and this is going to go over here. Okay, so see how that's on there? Now we can flip it over, and I'm going to take my mini dimensionals because I don't want them peeking out the front at all. And we are going to put some dimensionals on here. When I put my dimensionals on, notice that I'm going over that die cut. And so part of it's on the die cut and part of it's on to the back of those flowers. That is just another layer of securing that on there. Okay, so you don't need a lot of adhesive. Then we're going to go down here. Once again, it's and onto the back of that image. Whoops, sticking all over. I'm going to go ahead and put one on this leaf, and I think we're good. So now I'm going to take and I'm going to poke this up just like this. Come on. I may have poked that one too much. It might have gone through the other side. Get rid of those chads. Okay. Let's grab our card in here again, card base. Put that right on here. Now we want to make sure when we place this that these do not go above the card. Okay, so we're going to set those. And notice it's going below my frame. If it bothers you, cut it off. But it doesn't bother me. I think that it kind of gives it a little bit of interest. My thank you is a little bit crooked, but I'm not worried about it. Let's go here. Put a couple dimensionals on here. Don't go light on your dimensionals. Okay. And we're going to put our thank you off to the side, just like that. Now, because we've got all this busy here, I think that if we were to put embellishments on, it would take away. If anything, I could put black matte dots on there. But I think that that is, I wouldn't use gold. I wouldn't use anything real sparkly because we've got a lot of sparkle on this card already. Okay, so I hope you guys like this card. There's the coloring up front, up close, and you can see it's not solid. It's not any rhyme or reason. I just color. And this has got that poppy parade, which makes that pumpkin pie just pop out. Ooh, I put this on here crooked. Okay, let me, the spatula. There we go. It's on straight. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's card. And, on a day like today, getting that fall feeling, because you know what? August is going to be over before we know it, right? So I like working on some ahead of season just a little bit, but I'm still working on those August cards. And in fact, this could be an August card, you guys. Coneflowers are blooming profusely right now. And, what a great way to say thank you. So don't forget, you can purchase the products at my online store, and I do have a link in the description here. And if you would like some information about joining my Happy Stampers and Ink team, we'd love to have you join our community. Until we meet again, everybody, happy stamping!